I'm a counselor, so I deal with a lot of women who are going through infertility. So I'm a huge advocate for infertility for women and men because we are both affected by infertility. I have low egg count and
low sperm count and mobility.
And as somebody who has walked this journey, I know that one of the things is being accountable to someone else for understanding and being empathetic. And I know if I could go back and I could join a support group and have my circle who understood exactly what I was going through, that would have really helped me at the time. So that's what my heart is to be that support for others in my community, because my community is small, but infertility is huge. It's out of your control. And that's one thing that we had to learn, is surrendering that and just trusting in how it will play out for our best. There are tons of painful points for treatment for infertility that a lot of people might not be aware of. Of course, the financial part is hard. The medications are hard and devastating. One medication I was on that Dr. Chilvers recommended for me to have more eggs, it's a little vial. It's $500 for this little vial. And one thing you don't think about is how safe you have to be with medication. And this one little bottle, this one time on our last try, it broke. And the devastation of like living with infertility where your body already cannot produce eggs and medication was out of reach, and I was not prepared for my emotions to overtake me because of something out of my control. And one thing I would recommend for anyone on this journey is being very vulnerable with how you feel. We went on trips where I would have my medicine with me and I'd have to go into the bathroom and shoot, like we always said, doing shots, you can say shots, but like the reality is it's not fun. And then on the second half, when you finally get a transfer, those shots are horrible. Progesterone shots, awful. And Brandon had to learn how to do those shots. And we learned very early on that there are spots where are too high to give the shots where you will bleed. And it was not the funnest part of the journey. Medication is so complicated. So reach out to your doctors, ask the questions. The staff here are incredibly attentive, and they'd rather you ask the question than take the medication incorrectly.
I would always prepare her medicine and just kind of keep track of all of that. And I think the hardest part was just watching you have to go through everything. I would always try to be positive. It would get hard when we would go do another retrieval and like we knew the other ones hadn't been working out very well. But I did try to remain positive, and when she would come back from the retrieval, waking up from the anesthesia and stuff, I would have to be positive. Sometimes I would already know if they would tell me, but depending on how awake she was.
Your partner needs to be in it as much as you are, and your family or your friends, your circle need to support you because it's very hard and isolating. And don't give up. I know in our culture today, a lot of because we were newly married, were asking us, when are we having children? And that to this day just is insensitive. And I would recommend having a voice, speaking up for yourself, because when you feel so isolated and you're on a journey no one understands, the only way they'll understand is if you speak up. So I found my voice, and I definitely had those uncomfortable conversations with people because my journey matters. My children are miracles, and that changes the perspective of infertility. The reality is it's hard, it's a journey, so you need to find your voice on it and find your support. We've talked about we don't know who we would have been if we didn't go through it. So like if you don't understand how hard it is, then you're not ready. Because if you think this is easy, it's the farthest thing from easy.